Hello, crafting friends. How about making a super sophisticated but super easy roses today out of my book pages with a little bit of the napkins? So, in order for you to make those roses, you do need the circle. So, as you can see, is I outlined my cereal bowl, cut it all out, and then decided to simply apply some napkins to it. If you never decoupage paper on a paper, you need to separate the napkin plies and of course add some of the Mod Podge to your paper and then of course attach to it. And then as you can see is I'm cutting them out of my napkin, and then because I do want to make sure so I can craft right away, I want my installation to be completely dry, so I simply sandwich my circles with the napkins on them in between the parchment paper and iron this all out. In order for us to make a nice folds, I decided to just simply cut the flyaway so we can see actually the circle. Okay, so we got the circle now. Time to fold. So all what you need to do is fold your circle twice. And as I was folding it, I decided it was way too thick for me to cut with the scissor throughout 5 pages. So I took a couple of them out. And as you can see is I do have a very deep rounded off tear-like shape that I cut out of my book pages that are decoupaged on. Okay, so as you can see is I do have some kind of a petals that look like a part of the helicopter or something. So we are going to concentrate on each petal separately. So grab your paintbrush or the skewer and round off one of the edges to make sure that the first petal we are going to have a nice and smooth installation. So I just simply added the hot glue, overlapped it, and have that little, tip. And then I'm going to go to the petal that is across the one that I was just working with. And I'm going to simply overlap what I've created before. So I'm starting on one side, I'm going to turn around and then cover all that as you can see it right now. That's it. And I've got a center of my rose. So now we are going to work on the opposite corners of my cutout. So I'm just going to grab one of those petals and then simply add a little bit of the hot glue to its edge, not all the way up, and hot glue just a portion of it. Not going to worry about the other side. I'm just going to go to another petal and do the same thing. And now I'm going to just simply go back to my original and simply hot glue them to that little center that I've created, as you can see it right now. That's it. So now we have a double layered centered of the rose. Okay, let's add another cutout to it. But in order for you to add the cutout, you have to pay attention to how we overlap before. So as you can see, as I'm pointing out here how the overlaps were. So your goal is to install them with the hot glue right in the middle of the next petal and then begin the wrapping. So as you can see is I've added again the hot glue to its side, and I'm just only attaching one petal on the side, as you can see it having the other side slightly open. And I do have like a helicopter. And then of course I go back and keep on attaching this all the way. I do not add the glue all the way up. I just only do it maybe halfway through that little center, just so I can start creating to open the open rows. So now at this point, you could actually take your skewer or the paintbrush and then start to roll it up to add a little bit of the flare. And then of course when you add the third layer, you do the same way. Whatever you found your overlap was, you install it right in the middle of the next petal, and then you continue adding it. But with the next and next levels, you do need to add a little bit less of the hot glue if you want your rose to stay more open as the layers are coming. So that's it. I do on one side and I just go turn around and then add the hot glue on the other side. And of course, I curl my petals as I go to create a little bit of the flare. Okay, so this is how it goes. It's a super easy rose. I know at the beginning it is super confusing, but as you can see is if you take your time, all makes sense. So notice what happens right now because I am on one of the last rows. I decided to only add the dab of the hot glue right in the middle without really gluing to the sides, and just literally right at the bottom of the whole center of my rose. How beautiful it came out. So let's recap another one. This time I'm just going to use half of my page, of course, outline it with whatever could fit on it. And I'm not going to add the napkin plies, just to show you how this look with the book pages. I mean, you can do the hymnals. I mean, there are all different materials you can fold out rows with. So as you can see, as I'm doing it again, cutting my circles, cutting my round off tier, and then of course now having all those petals. So I'm going to be less descriptive right now with all those instructions for you to be able to script it. So again, as with the previous one, I'm rounding off one of the petals, creating that little spiky thing, and then approaching my wrapping with the pedal that it's across from whatever I just started to make, and then of course doing it on which side, and when it's that done, then you just use another one and keep on adding. I so hope it's not fast for you to see, but if I know out of the experience that if you are making the rows and following the video tutorial, you do I do personally like to have the steps repeated one more time for me to see without rewinding it. So I am right now on my, I think, second row, attaching the both sides, and notice that my rows is not as open as the other one because I do wanted to have a little bit more of the closed off one. So here's the tip again for you. Again, make sure that every single time you add the layer, you install your next layer right in the middle of your overlap to make sure that you do have your petals nicely positioned. My biggest issue with this rose, and it's actually with every project that I make, is waiting for the hot glue to dry. I guess it's not fast enough for me to dry because I do want to keep on going faster than the glue dries. Okay, so I'm right at the last stage, and of course I curl my rows as I go, and I actually like to leave the last one, as I mentioned before, without really overlapping anything, just attaching it to the bottom of the whole rows so it looks like it's all opened up. And that's it. My second rose is done. And check it out closer how all looks right now. And I wonder which one is your favorite, the one with the napkin decoupaged on or the book pages. You could actually outline the book page petals with some marker, dark marker or gold, or you can actually add some watercolor to it. There are so many options. I'm going to spritz mine with the coffee, leftover coffee that I had in the morning to get that more of a vintage look. So it's again, thanks for watching, and I so hope that this video was helpful for you to start folding beautiful roses.